If you're listening on podcast, be sure to tune in to our YouTube channel on YouTube at Wild and Weird WV.
Welcome to Wild and Weird Radio, a Wild and Weird West Virginia podcast. Welcome back to Wild and Weird Radio, everybody. Thank you for joining us yet again for another amazing week of the Wild and Weird. Remember, if you're listening to us in your car, we do a weekly live show that is exclusive only to YouTube. So the only way you can catch that live show is joining us on Thursdays or watch the repeat, but it's just on YouTube. So go over there, like and subscribe to the videos, hit that notification bell so that way anytime we release new content, you're getting it notified straight to your phone that, hey, those weird and wild West Virginia guys have got something new. Now,
did you just call us weird and wild?
I sure did. I mixed it up.
Don't do that.
I figured, everybody else does.
I know. That's why I said don't do that.
I just wanted to keep it with
you're just perpetuating the lie. Stop it. Stop perpetuating the lie, Joe.
Yeah, I know. So,
disinformation specialist.
How have you guys been?
I've had a blast. I actually got to relax this past weekend, go out and chill out and meditate with a crystal skull. It was a great weekend. How about you guys?
Oh,
well, as usual, I never get to relax or rest.
Meditate with crystal skulls, right?
Or meditate with crystal skulls. Yeah. I have been incredibly busy, as usual. Brandon, how's things been on your end?
I've been pretty busy myself, trying to get this book published and fighting with Amazon.
Oh yeah, we know the woes of that. Well, I don't. Ron does. Ron's had to fight back and forth with covers. And
it's fun.
Artwork and page sizes and all that stuff for some of.
Got it down to a science now for Dave. Yeah. I'm actually working on another one for him here real soon.
Speaking of projects, if you are listening to us, today would be Friday for you guys. If you're listening right as soon as it drops, but on Sunday the 2nd, that is July 2nd, you're going to want to jump over on Small Town Monsters.
Small Town who now?
That is Small Town Monsters. Go over to their YouTube channel because there's going to be a pretty good episode that I hear showing up on the Sasquatch Unearthed Mountain State Monsters. It's titled "There's Something in the Woods." You definitely want to catch that as soon as it drops. It's going to be it's a really good episode. We've already watched it, so it's great. You're going to want to catch it. Seth, as always, does an absolutely amazing job, and you'll enjoy it. Trust me, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, you're going to like it. That's all I'm going to say about
this show, you will enjoy it.
If you listen to this show, you're probably going to be like, one of those kind of things. For real.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's good. So.
Even I don't know what's going to be honest. I'm going to have to watch it.
Yes, absolutely.
You'll enjoy it.
Yes.
You really will. I think everybody who catches it's really going to like it.
Especially the people who like the show. So,
exactly.
So get over there and do that, right?
Yep.
I think you guys ready to do like some news or something? Because
I have a hankering for the news desk.
You have a hankering for the news desk?
I do.
All right then. So there's the news desk. There's some weird stuff in the news, appropriately. Yeah. Some really weird stuff, right?
There's a lot of weird stuff, and
Mhm.
Everybody that listens to us, we are into the wild and weird, obviously,
Obviously.
but we're not the kind of group that has been entertaining some of these weird conspiracies revolving the Titan and what happened with the Titan. It was a tragedy. Shouldn't have happened, first of all, but
Well,
just wanted
that's what.
for the news. A tragedy occurred. It was awful, and everybody's seen it now on their social media. We don't back any of the things that people were throwing around there saying how Megalodon did it or how
Right, that's
aliens.
a
I
thing.
mean, the thing, man, is that these things happen, especially
Yeah.
when you're dealing with test vehicles, experimental
When you're sending
vehicles.
down the equivalent of a Rubber-made trash
It's
can with
not
a
good.
glass top
It was
and a
not good.
Logitech controller to navigate
It,
the wreckage of the Titanic.
well, it's not good. It's not good.
You're asking for problems.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, you might as well have built your, a DIY space shuttle in your front yard. I mean,
And launched it.
there are things that you just shouldn't do, and that's probably one of the things. But you know what? I will say this: with all these terrible tragedies, there's always something that comes out of it that stops the next person from making that fatal mistake. So hopefully there'll be some regulations that come out of this for experimental craft and so forth.
Logitech's
Uh,
probably going to come out with a new controller.
Probably, I would say so. And maybe
That's
next
probably the two
time,
controller.
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
next time we can use some non-human intelligence technology, and it'll be better, right? So, yeah. But the Pentagon can neither confirm nor deny discovery of material originating from non-human intelligence. So there is that. Um, and that was a good statement, don't you guys think? That was a good statement.
Classic.
That was a great statement. And it's like you got a feeling that these guys just aren't talking to each other because, the Pentagon can't do that. But, literally within a few days later, we get a headline like this. So, Senate Intelligence Bill gives holders of non Earth origin or exotic UAP material 6 months to make it available to Arrow. Well, here's my thing about that. I don't think Arrow is read in on this. At least that's not what we've been hearing.
That's not what Kirkpatrick's at least saying. He's saying they don't know anything.
Yeah, well, they're not read in, and I don't think that they're able to actually view or see some of this top secret data, right? I mean, so how's that going to go? Are they going to get the scapegoat and be like, well, they never showed it to us, so it doesn't exist? Or is it too far gone at this point to where that is an ultimatum? And if it is, we said the clock was ticking, didn't we? I mean, just a different kind of clock. 6 months. So we have 6 months for these private companies to turn over all holdings of extraterrestrial or non-human, I should say, intelligence, not extraterrestrial. Make that clear because, the Pentagon can neither confirm or deny discovery of material originating from non-human intelligence or unknown origin within the secret program. So I just want to, that's a disclaimer. I have to put that there for us.
I mean, we know what happened with the metamaterial just
Yeah.
because there was a series of property changes, a series of money exchanges
Right.
that took place.
Right.
So
Yeah, what you said. I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, we know what happened, and we've got now we've got Rubio who has come onto the scene out of the blue this weekend, and he is saying some pretty remarkable things on his own. He's now admitted that high-ranking military officials have briefed him on what are undoubtedly UFO crash retrieval programs. And he also goes on to say that some of them have been scared to come forward
well,
for a very long time.
if you remember, Marco Rubio was one of the spearheads
That's right.
when this legislation started being drafted back. I think what was it, 2018?
Yeah, but he was the one who got the original Senate hearings, like
Yep.
where they got the classified hearing where we were not privy to anyway.
Yeah.
And so he kind of knows what's going on. But now he says he's talked to multiple witnesses, as we have said, that were coming forward. This is who they're talking to, guys. They're not talking to Arrow. They went straight to the head on this. Now that tells me that there's something going on with a little. There's a little competition going on there, isn't there?
It to me, I think it either sounds like distrust or competition.
Yeah.
What do you think, Brandon?
Distrust.
It could be both. Honestly.
I think there is a little bit of distrust, and I think that there's a little bit of Arrow's not working fast enough, so we got to get this done, and that's what people like Grush have done. But Rubio says that they've actually come to him before this legislation ever went into play, which tells us that while they were back there making fun of this whole thing, just like always, they were taking it very seriously.
Yep.
We have seen this play out multiple times. We talked about this in our presentation at Withville.
He was the first one to stand up and smack the hammer and say, "Hey, this is a matter of national security."
Yeah. Well, he did say that.
Beyond some of the national press conferences.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the first big
legitimate
ones.
person in office.
Well, there was an interesting article from UFO Sightings UK, and they had a little summary of what we know, and they were saying things like, UFO sightings have become more common in recent years, blah, blah. And then in one of their little things, it says, it is important to note that these sightings do not necessarily confirm the existence of extraterrestrial life, as they could have been advanced technology developed by the countries. No, there absolutely could not have been, because that's been covered at this point, and that's wishful thinking. It's time we need to stop this wishful thinking that this isn't some non-human intelligence that we're dealing with. And maybe it's not aliens, like I've said before. I mean, why would we call them aliens if they've been here for thousands of years? We wouldn't. But my whole point is, regardless of what you call it, it's here. It's time we deal with this, do what we have to do, and figure out how this contact situation can work. How can we benefit from that kind of technology if it's there? It should not be in the hands of just a few select people. You know this as well as I do. And that's what these guys are coming forward for, supposedly.
Yeah, Rubio was the first person really after Harry Reid to come out and announce all this. It's been quiet for a while. It sort of surprised me that it was him and not like Tim Burkett or somebody who came out and announced all this personally.
It's interesting. It really is. It really is interesting. And then, if that isn't the icing on the cake, the same week all this is breaking, we got a Wabi out there, and he's saying he's out. He's on the boat. He's out there doing the thing, and they pulled up some interesting pieces at this point.
Did you see how they're operating the sled?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I watched some of the video that he had cut for the sled runs and how they're picking up materials.
Yeah, they're doing this massive magnetic sled and dragging it, in this grid pattern. What have they found so far, guys?
A lot of fragments.
They found a lot of fragments, microspherals, which we know are related to basically meteoroid type impacts, anything that's coming. Yeah, exactly. Anything from out of the solar system. So
one of them they said appeared to be an alloy, didn't they?
That's right.
Yeah.
And they also had something with like little structures, string-like materials in it. So they're going to be looking at this stuff for a while. And Avi says if they find it, we're going to know. So again, Arrow is on notice at this point from multiple branches. They need to tell the truth on this one because it's too much. I mean, there's too much out. This thing is out in the open and it's not going back in. It doesn't matter if they come out tomorrow and say, we made it all up. It was all disinformation. No, it's too far gone. People still believe in the TR3B, man. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. TR3B! I got the shirt off. Look at the video. It's TR3D.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that was great, man.
Yes.
That was awesome. What you guys got anything else in the news that's going on? I mean,
There were a few small things that showed up that's not really like high strangeness related. I just thought it was kind of like weird. Like this old man in the UK was digging in his garden and he accidentally fell down a covered well, and they had to bring in a crew to rescue him out of the well.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay. So digging in your garden, fall through a hole. Wow,
Another dimension.
that's just weird, man.
I wonder if
Yeah.
he ran into any slee stacks.
I don't know. He might have. It could have
It
happened.
sounds like it's something either from like a missing Stargate episode or out of a Stephen King book.
No, it's totally
One
Land
of
of
the
the
two.
Lost, man.
It's Land of the Lost.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
Land of the
yeah,
Lost. Yeah. Marshall Will
I
and
loved
Holly
that show
stuff
when I
right
was a
there,
kid.
man.
The
You know,
90s version does not
routine
get enough
expedition.
love.
oh, the '90s version was just like that's the ultimate party movie, man.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah, then but I remember the old '90s
Oh yeah,
'90s remake where they had the kind of semi animatronic puppets and the. But I'm still a sucker for the OG. But
You
the
like them?
movie, like Ron was saying, man, that movie that is a good party movie. It's freaking hilarious.
that's a great movie. If you watch that movie and you're like in a bad mood at the end, there's no hope
Yeah.
for you. There is no hope for you.
It's like watching Shaun of the Dead and not being
Yeah.
in a good mood after that movie.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
don't know.
100% agree.
Oh,
Last
speaking of
What?
speaking of that,
What?
there was
wait,
something
hold on.
weird
Wait,
that
you
popped
were
up.
speaking of Shaun of the Dead. What zombie apocalypse
Is there
coming
zombies?
now?
What? What's going on?
Well, there was a picture that was taken from
Oh,
from a
dear
drone in
God.
Mexico. People have been saying that it could be anything from a chupacabra
No.
to one of the night walker
President
things.
Nightcrawlers,
Yeah, from
No.
one of those.
the
No.
pajama pants.
No, it's Project Bluebeam.
I'll send you
There
the
it
picture
is.
if you want to throw that up in the episode.
Yep. Snag that picture, send it over. That way we can let our viewers take a look, and anybody
put a
who's
nice red
listening to your
circle on it.
car, you can jump over.
Oh my God. Are you guys serious about this? Are you really going to tell me? I mean, seriously, that you think this is something? And I shouldn't say that you think this is something, but that people think this is something.
Yeah, people think that that's something. I do remember.
I want to know what's
Yeah.
wrong with humanity at this point. That they believe that every blurry dot. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some weird stuff. Obviously, we've documented weird stuff, but every single little smudge cannot be and is not something to to run to the newspaper with. I'm sorry, it's not. And that goes for dust on camera lenses and things that are apparently taken from a mile away. That just looks to me like you're looking straight on at a animal of some sort. How in the world can you say that that is this or that? I mean,
That could also be a piece of farm equipment just sitting out there.
It could be. It could be an old buggy.
guys, that could be on Mars for all I know. I
Right.
mean, that's the whole point. People throw these things on here and everybody has to, oh, it's real. I mean, look at that AI Middleton crap. Every day that crap's on there and people are, nope, that's not real. It's AI. And you know what's really
Yeah.
funny? They have been citing our website to actually debunk it now.
They have been.
That is wonderful. That makes me so happy. There are still some smart people left on this planet.
So. Two last little snippets to go
Snippet.
in the news.
Snip it up.
We are nearly sold out for the Bigfoot workshop.
Oh, did you see where someone thought it was a Bigfoot worship? I thought that was the best part ever. What?
We're starting a new cult.
They read it
We've
as
said this for
Bigfoot.
years. It's finally happening.
They read it as the Bigfoot worship. They're like, I thought I saw it said Bigfoot worship, and I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, it's not Bigfoot worship, guys. Just to let you know, that's something totally different.
I told him it's not that meeting.
I'm not
Another
really
me.
sure. I'm not really sure what that is, to
What
be
flavor
honest with you.
Kool-Aid should we have everybody drink?
Root beer.
Root beer. Yeah, I'm down.
It's got to be root
That
beer.
is Wild and Weird Bigfoot Workshop. Repeat,
Shop.
There's only a few spots left, everybody. You want to get in on this. It's an absolute blast. Everybody who's been a part of any of our workshops in the past loves them.
There's just like 12 spots left at this point.
It's going to be a great time. Remember, that is July 15th in Camel State Forest. Mark your calendars. Get out there. You're going to have a good time, we promise.
Yeah. Well, you are.
Rain or shine.
Look at that picture. You can kind of, if you're back there in the back, if you look, you squint really, really, really tight and you look, just move your mouth just the right way. There's a unicorn standing right there.
Yeah. We just need a red circle. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't need it. It's right there. You can see it.
I think I see that truck that Mew's hiding under back there.
Yeah, man. So anyway, we're also going to have at the workshop a very a veteran researcher, and we're working on getting him to come in, and it's going to be pretty epic. Let's just say that.
Yes.
You guys are in for a real treat. I promise you.
If we can get him nailed down, you are going to have a good time.
Yeah. So we should be able to confirm. Maybe we can possibly neither confirm nor deny that that's going to happen. But hopefully we can confirm it, and we'll get that done really soon. I also hear that Beth will be joining us.
Beth Duncan's supposed to be joining us that day, so you're going to get to meet her.
And she'll be at Wood Booger as well. From what I understand. So this will be your first chance to actually get to meet Beth and do a little Q&A about Wineberry. And you're probably going to have some questions. Let's just say that. Everybody else, is that?
One more.
What you got? Go ahead.
We added a new show to the roster for this year.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah.
Confirmed it last week. We were invited to Thunder in the Mountains powwow to present our Bigfoot research, track cast collections, and review data with everybody there for 2 days. We're going to be there both days. We're going to be doing presentations practically all day. So as people come up and hang out, we're going to be there spending time with anybody and everybody that comes over. And we are so stinking excited about this show.
My gosh, yeah.
It really, it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, I got to get to making some gifts. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. And I mean, I can't wait. It's a great honor. I mean, it's a huge honor.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait.
Powwow to present Bigfoot evidence.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Over the moon.
Oh yeah.
Is that all we got, guys? Is that the news?
That's it.
It's the news?
I have one more.
Good God. Seriously?
This has had me heated for 2 weeks. I have to talk about it, okay?
What would that be, Brandon? Please tell me.
The remaining Beatles are making a record, and they're going to be using AI to fill in George Harrison and John Lennon's voices.
Yeah, and I'm going to go on tour.
So mad.
I'm going to go on tour with Pink Floyd and the Eagles at once, because that's going to be my next virtual concert that you guys will be able to catch. And I'm going to be sued by all the above, but it'll be okay because the AI made me do it.
Oh,
all the more reason to get that AI Wars episode.
Yep, that episode's got to
hammered down because, man, it's coming fast, guys.
We've got so many things. Like if we keep holding it off any longer, we're going to be adding more chapters to it.
No, if we keep holding it off any longer, it's going to be it. Skynet's done. Yeah, exactly. It's over. Yeah.
So
I mean,
there is good news about that. There is actually apps now that can detect if things have been written using AI.
Really?
I guess it's basically like a plagiarism checker.
You believe that?
You would think it'd be either a plagiarism checker or there's got to be some kind of, there's obviously an algorithm it uses to write.
Dude.
Since you told me about that, I've been sitting here trying to think, how in the world, other than the plagiarism checker, could it do it? And I would bet that there is a frequency of specific words used in a certain order.
Yeah.
And when you catch those sequence of
It's
words.
a style.
Yeah, it's a style.
It's a style. It's an algorithmic style. And it knows.
Yeah, there's some publishers that I know of, and they have this disclaimer that says, if we detect that you're using AI, you will immediately be
good.
Not used or something like
good.
That. Yeah.
Let's do it for the rest of it.
To do that.
Wonderful. Let's do it for the rest. And, I will say this real fast. I have noticed that a lot of these people who are coming out with their AI art, AI generations, as I like to call them, they're not getting so many likes and little smiley hearts, and I want to buy your cheap garbage anymore. Have you noticed that?
Yep.
You know why? Because it's not art, guys. Sorry if that really offends you.
Everybody's figured you out.
It's just how it is. I mean, I'm sorry, but you're not artists. You're prompters. Prompters are programmers. You're a programmer. Congratulations.
It's like the people who used to play Guitar Hero thought they were actually guitar heroes.
Oh, dear God. They really did. They really did. I know. So, anyway. All right, kids. I think that's the news. I'm done griping about AI for tonight. Don't get me back on that stuff. I want to have a good night tonight. I want maybe have some tequila later. All right, here we go.
Well, everybody, we've got a fantastic show lined out for you all this week. We have none other than the sponsor.
Not only the sponsor, my friend, the creator, the absolute mastermind behind my daddy.
You're welcome.
I know, right?
Adam Good.
Adam Good, welcome to the show. Can you please, I mean, it's amazing. You've graced us with your presence. I can't believe that such creative ability has come to this show, because I don't know of anyone who has ever sat in that chair and, who has changed society as much as you. Because I mean, where did you get the inspiration? I have to ask, because millions of people want to know. Those who are not familiar, Joe, tell them about the lives and how this amazing individual changed the lives of billions of people.
As you all know, we started doing live broadcasts once a week, and we brought along a bunch of people who had listened to the show. And Mr. Adam Good was one of those fine individuals. Well, we were sitting there and going over some stuff and just talking, and all of a sudden, if you go back and watch it, you can tell the moment it happens, because I start borderline tearing up. I'm laughing so hard. I double over in my chair and I'm like, wait, Sky Daddy McConaughey, what? And then from there forward, a legend was born. Not a legend, a deity.
Yes, a true Sky Daddy.
The Sky Daddy came into play, and Adam Good was who dropped that. And
Adam, I mean, I just can't thank you enough, and the rest of the world.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you. And
Yes.
Your sarcasm is noted. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much.
It was great. The first few times it came, I could not stop laughing, and I still laugh at it to this day anytime it comes up.
I feel sorry for the people who tune into the show and don't know what the heck's going on when Matthew McConaughey comes out of the sky.
That's their first.
Right.
We have to thank Project Bluebeam.
Yes, we do. Let's give credit where credit is due.
Whenever Sky Daddy Matthew McConaughey was peering down the clouds, how could you not?
I mean, that's it. Yeah.
He was out looking after us back at Project Bluebeam.
Yeah, man. Always.
So I can't.
And Sky Daddy has been responsible now for many comic records.
Yeah.
And
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Spelling it out literally. Just it's been wonderful, and it was one thing that just hit me with a flash, and I was very pleased to watch you double over in laughter.
Yes.
It was well worth it.
It was better than that time when he had to run away and puke during the live, so that worked out really well.
And we were on a national show, another national show, like big show. And good times.
Always leave him with a
That
great
was his,
impression.
George Bush Senior moment.
Was it a podcast in Tokyo?
Oh, geez, it might as well
Have some
be.
sushi.
Yeah, no, I wish. That would have been far better. It was we were with the Squatch detective Steve Coles on their show reviewing the thermal data that had recently been captured. This was back last year, towards the end of the year, and I'd had a migraine really bad, and it'd been like 2 or 3 days long, and that was the culmination right then. Oh boy, it was rough. But yeah, so
I can definitely sympathize with that.
Yeah, it's rough, man. So I understand we have a official order to get underway. Am I right, Adam?
Yes, acknowledgement of country. It's something that I picked up while living in Australia, and hopefully be back soon. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. I would also like to pay my respects to elders past and present.
Very good.
Here, absolutely.
Always has, always will be Aboriginal land.
That's everywhere.
But thank you. And Aussie.
So,
but
if you guys haven't caught on, today's episode is going to be very Australia heavy, and Adam lived in Australia for how many years?
Off and on for about 8 altogether, or 5. I'm just trying to remember. It all kind of blurs together after a moment.
Right.
But I've got a permanent residency, and I'm looking to move back very soon. So,
wow.
Well,
I'm
we will
wanting to
definitely
get back.
miss you, but
No,
it's not like
I will
we
be
won't
with
be able to
you.
you know,
Daddy Matthew McConaughey will keep us connected.
absolutely.
He will keep us all together.
Oh, absolutely. It will be his will, and it will be done. Yes, absolutely.
Wherever does the sun shine on the earth, Sky Daddy Matthew McConaughey will be there.
So be it.
You know, one day Matthew McConaughey is actually going to call us. You know that, right?
I
And be
know.
like, either A,
No.
cease and desist this nonsense right now, guys. I mean, really? Or he's going to be like, all right. That's cool, man.
It will probably be the latter. It will probably be this is hilarious. All right. Keep it up, boys.
Well, whatever I
Anyway.
can do to get A-listers on the show.
Hey,
I'll do
that's
what
one
I
way to
can,
do it.
so.
Yeah, absolutely, brother.
You've joined us on the live before in person. This is the first time being on the actual main broadcast. And if you could just give our listeners a little bit of a rundown of your experience, and then we'll dive in, lead us right into where we're going to go into tonight.
Well, I'm a experiencer of several things from a very early age to even today. Whenever I was 9, I had a local ghost book dedicated to myself. It was done, my grandfather was the one that authored it, and dedicated to my wife Madeline and to our 9-year-old grandson Adam Good, who threatened to yell if the ghost book wasn't done soon. So,
There you go.
That's great.
That's awesome.
That's my claim to fame there. And I've always been interested in anything paranormal, strange, weird, wild. This has been the perfect state to grow up in and, come of age in for anything paranormal. My high school nickname was Spooky, and mostly just due to Mulder Fox from X-Files, but
yeah, most of us have that curse. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've always tried to keep my hand, constant with the community that we all are a part of here. And it's taken me to many places all over the world, all over the country, and continually talking with people. It's brought me out of my shell and made me not so shy at certain points. Brandon was able to learn that one whenever we worked together. So
That guy right there.
Yep.
Oh
Ron
no,
was
I
the
just
same
I
way.
just found people I really like to talk to. I mean, to be honest, the reptile people, I really didn't have much to say to them.
Yeah.
I really didn't. I mean, I'm not joking. It's just like because everybody had such a big ego
They did.
in that community, and over here they really
Yep.
don't. I mean, you'll get your handful of egocentrical people with everything on earth,
Yeah,
but the
you're gonna
point being, it's not as much. I mean, these people, everybody, almost everybody in this community, I'd say a good 90%, will sit down at a table with you and talk to you. Try that at a
Yeah,
reptile show.
it just doesn't happen.
No, it
Yeah,
does not.
it doesn't. It's like going to an arts and craft fair and
So yeah, it's
trying
like
to get an artisan to speak with you. It's just
yeah. So literally, yeah, I
Oh,
did not. I did not.
everybody's threatened, everybody's scared, everybody thinks someone's going to try to steal their secrets. And
Which there are secrets in that world. I'll give you that.
yeah, there are.
There really are secrets in that world. But give it about 4 or 5 years, everybody has that secret.
Yeah.
It's true. But yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
well, one thing I've always been passionate about is anybody that's an experiencer to be able to give them a voice and listen to. And if anything, I always try to make anyone that talks with me or at me feeling of being safe and in cared for hands. Because a lot of times they may start out joking, they may be really defensive, but in the end, they'll end up thanking you for actually listening to them.
Hmm. Always.
And
Yeah,
I think we've all been on the receiving and giving end of that. I'm just glad to be here and be able to talk to you all. And
Well,
It
let's
personally took me a long time to talk about my own experiences on this show because I was afraid of people's reactions, honestly.
Brandon, no one cares. No, I'm kidding.
like full disclosure here, everybody. The first time that I met Brandon in person was when he came and got a Christmas ornament. And
That's right.
and he met me here at the house because
Poor
something had
Brandon.
come up and I couldn't get out because I was with my boy.
I think he was
And
asleep and you couldn't leave.
Yeah,
Was it-
I couldn't leave.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was asleep. So Brandon actually lives very close to me. Brandon said, "Well, I can just come over and get it." And I was like, "Cool." Well, that turned in. I had the little monitor on my phone watching Dingus sleep, and I stood outside in December barefoot and wound up forcing Brandon to talk to me for a while. But then after he got opened up, he realized, this is cool. And then I realized I like Brandon is actually really, really cool. This guy lives close to the house. I need to try to get
Well, Brandon's been doing the news with us. He was our correspondent there. Yeah, for a while. But and we still owe Brandon a piece that he ordered that accidentally got sold at Mothman last year. And Brandon, I got you covered, by the way. I wanted to let you know I have everything I need here to make that happen. So you'll be getting that very soon. Don't rely on Joe. That's what I'm telling you. I will be taking care of that for you, and it'll be good.
Never rely on Joe for something Ron's supposed to make.
Well, Ron made it. It wasn't you. I think it might have been Pat that sold it. Actually,
I think Pat sold it because there was another one that we had to give somebody their money back to because they had there was another one under the table.
As I recall, we were during the lectures when that happened,
insane.
right?
Yeah, it was insane, and it wasn't Pat's fault. It was there was 30,000 people there, and
But anyway, yes, you have one. That's what I'm trying to say, Brandon. You're good.
Sweet.
And yeah, it is really cool. It does take you a while, bud, to get to the point where you can literally talk about things.
Yeah.
And for you to do it on a public forum like this, hey, I can only help things, man, as far as I'm concerned. So,
well, I can definitely sympathize. And one thing that always helped me with being able to speak out or listen to people was the book that was dedicated to me. Growing up, watching, a few books of those being made by people writing in. My grandfather would just go out and ask people to write him their supernatural experiences. And
oh wow, that's really cool.
That is cool.
It wasn't like a direct authorship. He was actually letting them write their own
collecting the stories.
Exactly. He wanted it written in their own voice. And, it's still being published to this day. Someone bought all the rights and everything, so still being made in Charleston. The books are still being published. So it's good.
What's the name of the book?
Greenbrier Ghost, Volume 1.
See? You guys might have knew that. You didn't know that, did you?
I think we sold that at the state forests.
Of course you did. Yeah. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
I've had that book forever. And you know what's funny, Adam? I remember reading that in the beginning. That dedication. Yeah. That's the most funny part about it, because I remember reading that and was going So yeah, that's
that
great.
Was my grandfather trolling me, Threaten me, will you? I'm going to embarrass you for a lifetime.
Now it's there for pretty much eternity because it's on digital format too.
Yeah, isn't that great? But yeah, that's a great book, man. I bet you almost anybody here in West Virginia that's interested in the paranormal has that book in their library.
Yeah,
I have
and
it.
I will still sign it. I will sign it for my grandfather.
I gotta bring mine. Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'll bring that tomorrow. That'd be sweet.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
So let's get into a little bit of high strangeness down under. What do you say?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Sounds great.
So start us off, man.
Well, I'm going to start with a couple experiences of my own while I was down under, and
even better.
And they both took place on the same trail, and I'd walk it constantly. It was in between the town I lived in and another town, and it was about 5 miles long, and I've always loved walking, so I'd get up and go out and take a walk, listen to my headphones, go out, do stuff. Any time of year, in the winter, it was always raining, muddy, damp, cold. And in the summer, it was just boiling hot. Walking this trail, the first time was on, I'd just forgotten it until now. It was just kind of like a magical moment the first time. And it's in the middle of what used to be, well, it's still considered a rainforest to this day. And it was along a railroad track that ran through like a little bit of a Aboriginal land. I mean, it's all Aboriginal land, but it was kind of like a significant spot. And they used to haul lumber from this area all the way up to China, and so I was out walking it. It was Christmas Eve, walking down it, and I was just surrounded by these little tiny butterflies, little blue butterflies. I mean, they completely blocked out all kinds of light, just surrounded me, just kind of up in a big, kind of like a tornado almost of them. And it was just felt magical. It made me feel at home. And sometime later, walking the trail, I do remember seeing, it was probably a good 100 yards away from me, what I'll describe as a yowie, just someone that was taller than usual, by a few feet. Nothing odd, but, and hairy. And since it was hairy, there was no clothes on it. It wasn't wearing like a lumberjack or, like flannels or jeans or anything. It was just all fur, middle of summer. So, anyone doing this way out in the bush would be dying in a fur coat, I would think.
Yeah,
so that just, yeah. And, just it crossed the path. And the one thing that kind of ended this bush experience before we moved to the city, and I was out walking the same trails I always did, and I heard some loud thumps, and I was like, okay, kangaroo nearby. There was always kangaroo nearby. But they just seemed louder than usual, and I knew it was getting close. You could see the bush, kind of rustling, and out came this kangaroo that was about 9 foot tall, maybe almost 10.
God.
And kangaroos only get to be about 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
And if you look back, like 10,000 years ago, however long, that kangaroos really did get, 10 foot tall, but they're all just 6 foot tall now. And it towered over me, and kangaroos can be really vicious. They can kick your guts out. They can just lean back on their tail and just kick your guts out. I mean, literally, the claws come out and just take a swipe, and yeah. So, one of the things you do is you get down and make yourself as small as possible. Completely alien to what you do in America. Like with a bear, you're, mountain lion, you try to make yourself as big as possible. There, you go down into a ball on the ground and just try to be as small as you can, And it just kind of came, towered over me, kind of sniffed around, then turned around and thundered off. I mean, you could feel the ground shaking a little bit whenever it would bounce around. And
So,
that's a Jurassic Park moment, man.
Right?
Yeah.
But now, because you said it's on the fossil record, these kangaroos, and it's not genetically different than those kangaroos. It's just that time has done its thing, and food scarcity has done its thing, and stuff like that. It forces pressures on animals to get smaller sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, it wouldn't genetically be out of the question for a kangaroo to really be out there, be 10 feet tall, cruising around. I mean, clearly your experience was literally face to face. And what went through your mind when you saw this thing come through the bush?
Well, I've always, anytime like I come into contact with something, either paranormal or real life, I just try to keep myself calm. I try to take in detail, and this is something from childhood. It wasn't something that I've always tried to teach myself. It's just something I've tried to keep. And you try to assess what's going on. You go, okay, I need to make myself small. And, I'm just looking at it and thinking, my God, this thing is huge. Don't want to let it smell my fear. I'm just going to kind of watch it and study. And you can kind of smell the way that the kangaroo smelled. You can smell the dirt. And you're just kind of making yourself small, and you're being watched. And I've encountered bear here. I've been chased by bear. I've chased bear here. All that kind of fun stuff. And I just tried to take it in, and I was able to watch on my side, curled up in a ball. Yep, sorry. And just watched it kind of saunter off and into the bush, and whenever it was gone, whenever you stop seeing the trees rustle and the bush rustling and everything, you just kind of go, that's done. Okay, let's get back up, and I'm going to turn around, and I'm just going to kind of go clean myself up.
I can relate to that 100%. With my side, like I waited till it was gone, and I could no longer see what I was viewing. That the subjects were gone, and then I made my exit.
Yeah.
So
one thing in my studies and research, one thing that I've read on is that there was a woman in Australia that had an experience with a 10-foot tall to 12-foot tall kangaroo as well, but it turned out to be a UFO, and it was the beginning of her abduction experience.
Oh, screen imaging.
Screen image.
Well, Oz factor going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So
mean,
did you
could see that.
missing time or anything like that with this encounter that you're aware of?
You know what that
there
reminds
was a
me of?
question when I got home. What took you so long?
Oh,
Okay.
And I was like, I saw a 10-foot kangaroo, 9-10 foot tall kangaroo.
Perfectly
You know
normal.
how our AI
Nothing
can't
wrong
get
with that.
hands and fingers right? Maybe theirs can't get size correctly. So it just blows up whatever you're thinking of or what you expect to see.
Or
Well,
they have to blow it up to fully mask what they're doing.
yeah,
Or,
I mean, who knows, man? I mean, you
Oh,
could be dealing with anything from that to a portal, time slip. I mean, there could have been so many possibilities, but yeah, the contact modality there does ring true, doesn't it? I mean, as far as that
It sure
goes,
does.
yeah, because that's
Well,
the
another
so-called
thing
Oz factor.
Well, with a
Go ahead.
lot of abductions as well, there are instances of beasts and creatures that aren't
Hmm.
supposed to be there, such as woolly mammoth, a
Dragons,
brontosaurus. Yeah,
yeah,
Brontosaurus, really?
exactly.
yeah, dude.
Hmm.
and
There's
the
all kinds
other
of
thing
stuff.
too, this could be one. It could be something from your memory that they're taking from your memory, or it
Hmm.
could be something that the last time they were here, this was normal. So this might be acceptable if we show them, and then when they see it, they're like, ah.
Oh, maybe it's like a memory from your childhood when you saw a kangaroo and like they compare that size difference with you now, and that's why it's 9 or 10 feet tall because it's comparing to a childhood memory that you have. Could be something like that.
Very
Maybe.
good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Remember what it's like when you saw your parent come in the room when you were just a baby? How big your parents
Oh
used to
yeah.
be.
Right? Yeah. Wow, that
And
is
maybe they're doing the size difference to kind of keep you at bay. Like we're bigger than you.
Yeah, it could be.
Like a
right.
dominance thing. Yeah.
Yeah, could very well be, or just utter
No.
confusion.
Yeah.
So,
So.
as far as the culture in Australia goes with their approach to some of this high strangeness, how do they go about it? Maybe differently than we do.
Well, that's kind of the fun thing. It's a lot of it can either be go one way or another. Either they accept you because they're about community. Like whenever they have a wildfire coming through, there's so much more community involved in prepping for wildfires, making sure that your neighbor's okay, and just a real sense of community. So either it can make you an outcast, or it's like, hey, Jim saw the mem-mems, you know,
So
and
what's
it's like,
what,
oh,
fill us in?
Well, that's the lights, right?
yeah, the
The
mem-mem
memes.
lights
Yeah.
where they'll chase you in the outback in cars. They've been filmed following cars for kilometers after kilometer, and they don't know if it's a mirage or people have had them say that they've come up to them. It's a real it's kind of like their Skywalker type deal, where they had some people are afraid if they catch up to you, you'll be vaporized or just taken away, or
Who knows,
you know,
right?
yeah, who knows what's going to happen.
That's
So
wild.
Yeah, there's a
the mi-
high amount of missing persons in Australia in certain places where there's no trace of them whatsoever. People usually just assume that they're just lost in the outback somewhere, but maybe that has something to do with it.
Mhm. Well, I mean, they do have the dream time and such a like just such a wonderful history, with the Aboriginals and the just everything that from it's just amazing. I'm sorry, my mind's just being kind of blown by the whole aspect of
No, it's
comparing
fine.
it to Australia and here.
Well,
Yeah, it's
Because
one
completely
thing
different.
I like about the Aboriginals there, they have told the same stories for thousands of years about the Star People, and they even
hmm
have really good art depicting the star people on rocks and stuff that are
the Wangina.
they're so old they don't even know how old the drawings are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no way to date them or
yeah.
anything.
Yeah, multiple thousands, and they are taken care of over those periods of time as well by individuals in the tribal community, from what I understand, and only they can take care of those. Isn't that how that goes?
That's correct. Yeah.
And in this process of taking care of them, don't they also refresh them?
Mm-hmm.
They go through.
That's part of taking care of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They go through, and that's why it's impossible to date them.
Yep.
Is because the application of paint has been traditionally
layer upon layer,
thousands of times, most likely.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which is amazing if you think about that.
Yeah.
That it was so important that you would do that, every several hundred years for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I mean, some say they're 8,000 to 10,000 years old. Yeah. Can you imagine if that's the case? That's some dedication.
And
Yeah,
I believe it's to be worthwhile.
Yes.
I read an article recently about some sort of evidence they found relating to how the Aboriginals got to Australia, and guess what particular date they listed, Ron?
Probably 10,500 or 12,000.
12,500.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Magical number.
Magical number. There's always that magical number in there, guys.
Yep.
And they talk, the Aboriginal ethnics are supposed to be the most pure, undiluted out of all the ethnics. Like, like there's so much, God, I hate to sound like this, but they're able to look at them scientifically with as much care and everything and be able to trace more back with them than what they could with Caucasian or anything from Europe and such like that. And
less intermediate.
it's just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to choose my words quietly. Well, there.
Well, the thing about history is it is what it is. And sometimes we just have to address that. And that is a matter of historical data as far as I'm concerned. It has nothing to do with anything else. And it's pretty remarkable because what it says is you've got a group of people who were in this one area and they were very, very proud to be in that one area. That's kind of what that says to me. And they didn't get a whole lot of outsiders. And, other places around the world did.
And they go back to the flood myth. They have their own about how, they used to have the bridge back to other countries. And then the flood came in and kept them separated,
Which we've heard that before,
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all by word of mouth.
Yes. Passed down by word of mouth.
And all it would take is, say, like a big fresh body of water that was trapped by ice, and that ice just collapsed one day, and boom, millions of gallons is being dumped in the oceans at one time. That's all it would take.
Instant displacement.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. And you're
End
not
of
even...
the Ice Age. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I know that there's a lot of people who want to argue about that now, the Younger Dryas, that it actually happened. But there are apparently strewn fields all across the world that say that something happened. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like saying we can't confirm nor deny. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna go there again.
There are thick layers of mud in some places that are around that magical number.
Mm-hmm. There is.
Yeah, they've been documented along the coast in England and Ireland and
all over the world.
Yeah.
Mediterranean, like anywhere close to the oceans basically has that layer.
Yep. Anywhere with high cliff walls around the ocean, you can see them.
Mm-hmm.
Just go out to California.
Yeah. There you go.
Go out to the Seven Sisters in Australia in the Bight.
Yeah.
So I'll ask, what are some of the more weirder things that you've encountered or witnessed in Australia, or not, I should say?
Well, I've encountered quite a bit, and I can't show the picture.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And definitely since it's being recorded, um, just because it's not my
Something.
property,
There was something there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I know I told you and Brandon, but I'll tell Joe here that I was baking bread one night and I was on FaceTime, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and something, and I didn't see it, but the person that was on the call with me took a screenshot of something that was in the window.
Oh,
Yeah.
any chance I could see that picture tomorrow?
Why, yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we just can't show it. We just can't show it publicly, guys. So don't ask.
Oh, me too.
That's that's to respect the privacy between whoever actually owns the photo, right? And
Right.
isn't that it? Yeah, that's what I thought. But I have seen it, and actually, it was one of the first. First meeting we have had face to face, as I recall.
It was the first meeting face to face
Right?
that we
It
recall.
was. Okay, yeah, it was. And to get that as your first, calling card, and to, hey, great to meet you. Can you look at this? It was kind of like, oh my God, because I don't
My
know what that
first meeting
was.
with Adam trumps that. I
d-
received a blessing from Sky Daddy.
You did. That's true. That's true. But I really don't know what that was, Adam. And I thought about that and thought about that, after you showed that to me. And
I mean, I've
don't
tried
know.
to look at it, tried to recreate it with a glare in the window, everything. I've
Yeah.
tried to go back, take pictures, turn on lights, turn off lights,
Can't do
what
it.
might possibly, and
Yeah.
there is no way. I mean, I will admit, much like yourself, Ron, I'm an artist, and
Yeah.
but I couldn't.
Couldn't do it, right?
Well, I mean, like I think I would do a better job.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you couldn't do that, like the way that
Yeah.
looked.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I can do my own illustration, but I'll never look like Salvador Dali.
There you go.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the weird part about that, because it just looks so off. It's
Yeah.
it's not normal. It doesn't belong there. And
That's how you can spot the real pictures.
well, my question to Adam was, when he showed it to me, so what do you think that is? And do you remember what you told me?
It's a gray.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
And if I would have seen it with my own eyes, it wouldn't have been the first time.
Yeah.
So that I would
Yeah.
have seen one. So
Yeah.
and
I'm curious how similar it is to that thing that I saw here that one time.
Oh, in the hallway?
Yeah,
Yeah. That thing in the hallway is weird, dude.
yeah.
But
So I'm really eager.
I get those in the house too.
yeah, man. I mean, there's things there, right, Adam? That's the whole point of this. There's things there. And it was really great though when we did actually start talking about this stuff. It's like, I'm to the point where I really don't care anymore if people believe me or not. It doesn't matter, because there's enough out there who it helps them, and that's who I tell the story for. But every now and again, I'll still get that little bit of validation kind of thing, and it's just like a punch in the gut, and in a good way, I guess. It's like, hey,
Mhm.
don't take this so. Don't think that you know what's going on, because you don't know what's going on. And here, just to prove it, let me throw this in there. Now I'll try to explain that. Like, this thing always seems to do that. It's like it validates itself, but it always poses another challenge.
Protects itself. I think
It protects itself. It protects itself, but it also makes you think. Like, it wants you to. Don't you think, Adam? Like, it's almost like
yeah.
it's challenging you to evolve the way you're thinking, almost.
Mhm. Like the legs were too long in it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, why would it be like this? And it goes back to what was happening in Las Vegas, where people were saying, "But that's much too tall for a gray."
Yeah.
But they do this thing where it's really challenging, where you just kind of go, "WTF, mate?"
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Sort of like
how
that
does it how's it
story
going to work?
Ron posted a
Huh?
story today where Jimi Hendrix supposedly encountered a
Oh,
gray
yeah.
type being, but it was 8 feet tall.
Well, that was a great story. That was shared from, where was that shared from? I think it was UFO Disclosures or something like that, a little page. Another experiencer over there puts up every now and again. She does some really good work. She puts up some really good articles. Um, but I will say, man, I think you're hitting it right there. There's a lot of these questions, right, about the whole contact cases, like all these, and there's always this instance of just weirdness, and I mean like beyond high strangeness, guys. Just weird. Like this doesn't make sense. This doesn't compute. You know, like you said, like sometimes a leg may be longer or an arm may be longer. So it may look like you're looking through gas, you know, like a gaseous discharge on the ground or something, you know, that distortion. Who knows? Maybe that is what's happening. But there's always something weird there.
Well, the one thing that really seems to be what it is about that each and every experiencer seems to be having something tailor made for them.
Right.
Let
Yep.
that be anything, ghost,
Yep.
whatever. And it's all
Yep.
connected, it's all supernatural. And it's not the word together, it's the word separate.
Right.
And it just all seems to be made just for the viewer,
Yeah.
for the experiencer.
For the
Yeah.
experience itself, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
Correct.
kind
that's
of
the best explanation I've ever heard.
yeah.
Well, at least recently, is that it's tailor made. It's like, yeah, it really is. Like completely customized just for them.
Yeah,
And
it really is. And I think that that's part of it, though. It's all about the experience. You know, that's what we keep saying to these people. It's why most of them they have this common core, but they're not exactly the same. You
yeah.
know, that's how it goes. They're not always the same, but you'll always catch those common little elements. You know,
Hmm.
the introduction of the phenomena, you know, the strange lights or something like that, you know, the bedrooms and stuff like that. You know, there's a checklist, but then when it gets down to the actual, I'll say it, the communion side, you know, where you're
Hmm.
actually you're communicating with them, that it is personal and it's made for you to try to come to terms with in whatever way that you can.
Hmm.
And every experience is different, even though there may be these little pieces that are the same, you know. But everyone, when it gets down to the, you know, past the basic stereotypical thing, it becomes very, very personal at that point.
I sort of wonder
Correct.
if they perhaps don't have an actual physical form, and that's why they create this.
Well,
Well,
you know, there's there's a lot of evidence that says we're not dealing with a physical phenomena, right, Adam?
Yeah,
that's 100% correct. Like, there's this case by Kathleen Martin, the Betty and Barney Hill niece. She relates this man from, I forget where, well, they never really said where he was from, but he owned an airfield. And one night he saw a UFO, so he put out lights to try to tell it to come in and land. He even got a supposed photograph of it. And then beings started showing up. He started um, trying to protect his property with an AR-15, shot a few clips at it, and none of the bullets would hit. And
That
this
sounds
is
like
within
Hopkins
range.
2.0.
And he was in bed, had a gun underneath his pillow, and it this being came in and he shot it. It exploded into a yellow goo. And after that point, it started to haunt him. And it haunted him. And when he'd leave the property, he would get sick and he would come back, he'd get a little bit better, but he ended up dying of insanity and cancer and all this stuff to where it just haunted him to death because it was angry that it was shot.
Now that
Yeah.
is a piece of data that you have to use to adjust any belief system that you've got at this point, right?
No, I mean, you just can't go blasting away at something
No.
that is beyond us. It's
Right.
not going to end well.
No, it's not.
You're only
And-
going to make them mad, just like Mongo and Blazing Saddles. Don't do that. You'll just make them mad.
yeah, yeah, it's true. And I mean, they may have figured that out back in February when they were trying to shoot them all down around here, but in the U.S. But yeah, man, that's pretty out there. That's wild stuff.
No, I mean, and another thing is Australia had its own aerial phenomenon, like from Africa, the aerial phenomenon there.
Yeah, they did.
They had one in Melbourne, the Westfall.
Yep.
And,
Oh, there was a flap around Sydney too. I'm trying to remember what the media called it.
but one of
There's
the
a
teachers was
video on Amazon about that as well.
one of the teachers saw it and was harassed by Men in Black.
Mm-hmm.
It's all there's something about it that is just keeping it where it's at.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's part of that tailored made aspect of it.
Right.
Maybe there's too
Right.
many suits to be made if we
Hey.
make it public.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's possible.
Speaking of suits, maybe the government's afraid of being sued by coming out and admitting it. Maybe people will like try to sue them for harm that they've had mentally,
Dude, it's powder cake.
things like that.
It's a
Yeah,
potential powder cake.
Well,
There'd be
I
some
forget
kind of
what happened with it.
require.
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say the government would require some form of amnesty before anything comes out.
They would.
Well, one thing that they were
Yeah.
looking at a few years ago is that they were looking at kind of doing a thing if they suspected someone might be dealing with something that's above us,
Mm-hmm.
that they could lock you up without trial or jury. So an experiencer might be put away, not to be heard from again.
Yeah. Yeah. You could see it going that way. You really could, especially if it was an experiencer that had an experience with something that was just, close to what they needed, so to speak. Like come to work for us, or no one's going to see you again. I mean,
Yeah.
that's theoretically possible.
And who doesn't want to work instead of disappearing?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I mean, working is a lot better than disappearing. So yeah,
Depends on the work.
yeah, that's true too. That's true too. Especially if they needed
Imagine-
somebody to, go in and change the power sources or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Imagine if the government did decide to come out with all this. Imagine being on their PR campaign. That would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like trying to like
that would
obtain
be-
lawsuits and make it look good for the public and all that crap. Like, oh my god.
Oh, they can do it. If they got through 2020, they can do this. That's all I'm going to say about that. You can insert your own conspiracy theories there.
Yeah.
Oh
We
no,
can't
they'll
talk
just make
about it or
another
we'll be
something that will keep us. They'll just try to, hey, look over here. We got the keys
Yeah.
over here. Don't look over there.
Yeah. Don't you guys remember the murder hornets in 2020? You remember those?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the murder hornet scare? And then, what was it? The sun was supposed to go through some period. It was going to be the coldest summer on record since the 1800s. You remember that, guys?
Mercury's in retrograde again.
Right. I mean, what the crap? It's just like, yeah, insert whatever conspiracy theory you want. We have a pretty good idea, though, that it's going to be all right. And I think it's going to be all right. But, every now and again, people need a reassurance that it's going to be okay.
See?
Reassured.
Bless us,
That's
everyone.
where I was going. I was going to say, I think it's going to be all right. All right. All right.
It is going to be all right. All right. All right.
Brought it in.
You're right, man. Absolutely. But,
We're gonna have to close with that.
oh, yeah.
McConaughey
that's-
316 says they keep getting older, but I stay the same age.
Oh, my God.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Ay, 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 ay. This is
This is
epic.
McConaughey 11:35.
No, don't do
McConaughey
this.
wept.
Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't make this happen.
Oh man!
I mean,
So
we're trying to make contact out there, Brandon. I mean, if they intercept this, they're going to be like, you know.
No, they're already watching us, in real time. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
It's a good point.
We got enough time for one more.
I hope we're entertaining for them.
Weird one. What do you got? Any other account or any other story that you had picked up from Australia that you could share?
Do you want personal, or do you want me to go to a myth down there, or cryptid?
Let's go to. I haven't done one of those. Let's dive in that. That thing would be fun.
Yeah.
Do which one? You kind of broke up.
Oh, sorry. The myth. Let's cover some kind of a story, a local story or folklore or something like that.
Well, I mean, one of the ones that keep doing that. One of the ones that I enjoy are the bunyip.
Bunyips.
Which, in case may very well be just kind of like a skinwalker type deal, where it's just or even worse, like a djinn or just an evil entity.
Yeah.
They're kind of something like that. But I mean, like people have, whenever we went down there, and I say that as like whenever the Caucasian race went down there and started kind of getting into trouble and doing everything that they did, they they started running into these things, and they would ask the Aboriginals what they were, and they were just like, "Oh, those are just evil. You don't want to go into the swamp there,"
Yeah.
And like English settlers in the 1800s, what more can you tell them? But I mean, like some people think that they saw like oversized wombats and different stuff like that. But I mean, some of them could look like, some kind of furry dinosaur-like creature or something like that. To where,
Yeah, like an Allosaurus type thing.
yeah, and
Feathers on it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, just they would always say that they're just scary monsters. They're evil demons, evil spirits, and they feast on the human. And don't, I mean, kind of like around here, don't go wandering out making noise at night, and different stuff like that. But it's kind of like what is it?
That not going out at night making noise thing never registered, I don't think, with anybody in my family. I was always taught to go out and whistle at night, and it would be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go whistle in the woods at night.
I live in the middle of the woods, and I've whistled and clapped and everything at night.
We made it out.
Maybe that's why well, maybe that's why we're experiencers now.
It probably is.
We might be looking at this.
Yeah, that's.
Whenever I moved out, like where we are now, when I was like 9 years old, 10 years old, you like as you do even now, you leave the windows and doors open during the middle of the night, and
yeah,
I would hear "Help me." Turned out to be a peacock.
What?
Peacock. Yeah, I remember hearing those things.
Yep.
Neighbor had one of those.
Night,
That's exactly what it sounds like.
Yep.
Screaming.
So, yeah.
Well, I had a teacher in middle school. She lived outside of Danville, and she collected exotic large birds like ostriches and emus. And if you drove past her house with your windows down, it sounds like Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Oh, they're loud.
It is the strangest noises you will ever hear.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we started chasing one to try to.
It's so weird.
We started chasing them to try to get them, the people that had them, moved, and we were trying to get them for other people, and finally it just became too much. And you're like, you live here forever, it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, she had peacocks too, and occasionally they'd wander up the road into people's yards, and they would call the animal catcher to take them back to her house. They're mean. They'll chase you and everything, especially if they're in mating season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they are. There's a family over in Winfield that has some peacocks, and those birds are nasty, but they're not nice at all. They'll walk around some of the subdivisions over there and terrorize everybody. But the ones that were my favorite back home were the guinea fowl. People would have guinea fowl that would get loose, and then all of a sudden the noises those things would make.
Yes, they're so loud.
You'd think there's an army, and there's like 4. This is this has been a fun one, man. We'll have to have you back again and do some more stories, and or even just have you back to guest dive into a topic. I think that would be fun too.
No, I hear your sarcasm, but I greatly accept and will come back anytime.
Yeah, I really do. I mean it. I think it'd be great.
No, I
Especially
would
for a
love to.
panel.
Yeah,
Anytime you
Yeah.
need me, I'm here for you.
Yeah, for a
we
panel,
appreciate it, man.
I think it
Same
would
goes back to you.
be great to have you on as a panel. I think probably so.
Yep.
I could see that happening.
Yeah,
For
especially
sure.
once
Especially
we
if
get the
we can get
ability to
Mike.
have more people.
Oh no, we can add a ton of people.
Oh, we
Yeah.
can
We
now?
do that right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think,
Like,
I think we did like
it-
15 or something. Is that right?
Wow.
I think if we could get Ike and
It's 15
Adam, I
on.
think that'd be a really fun show.
Oh, yeah.
We'd go over some really good stuff.
Well, we're toying with doing a
Ike's a good-
very special episode. I'm going to keep you in the loop on this because,
Is this
Yeah,
an
my-
after-school special?
yeah, it's an after school special and it's a very special episode. And it'll be shot in a very special place live.
Wait,
so,
nudge, nudge, nudge.
so you may want, I want to keep you in the loop on that. You might want to show up for that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, you could carpool up too. You could just meet me on Route 60 out here near the house, and whoop, there we go.
Hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah. So that'll be good. What do we got coming up, guys?
Well, again, we have the Bigfoot worship service that we're doing. No, guys, the Bigfoot workshop that we're doing July 12th.
Oh my god.
Speaking of the Bigfoot worship, there is erotica
No,
about
I know.
Bigfoot.
I
But
know.
Bigfoot has been known to have one of the sexiest out there.
What I've heard.
I've heard.
Those haunches going up and down the mountain all day long. You think like,
Oh geez.
I mean, they
Yep.
will literally, like for women, they'll do like the muscle man pose.
You know what's funny is there's an episode on Sasquatch Chronicles that's pretty infamous about this guy who found a lady who was running a daycare of Bigfoot, and there was a female
Yes.
one that he found
Yes,
particularly attractive.
yes. In the house.
Yep.
Yeah, Wes, if you're listening to this, which you're probably not, but you should be, Wes. We're sending people to go listen to that one really wild episode that you did. That one of my favorites. But we're
But what I
friends
was
with-
going to come back to say is that this is why we're worshiping Bigfoot.
Oh, okay.
For the
Okay.
badunk.
I see why you're circling around. That was
Oh, man.
you guys are terrible.
The Wild and Weird Bigfoot
Bigfoot.
Workshop, July 15th in Canola State Forest. You guys are going to have your chance to experience field research instruction, hands-on. You're going to be able to go through a Bigfoot crime scene. That doesn't mean we're going to murder a Bigfoot. For everybody who thinks this was a worship thing, we're not going to murder a Bigfoot either. We might sacrifice one, though, just for the worship side. But
No, we won't.
we're going to have a crime scene that you'll be able to go into and investigate
Jeez.
and observe and see disturbances on the ground and learn how to read what those might be. Then we're going to be doing track casting. We're going to be teaching you how to use equipment all day long. There's going to be a great dinner to follow all this up with. But anybody who wants to stay around after dinner and spend some time, we will actually let you put everything you learned during the day to work. You will get to use the equipment hands-on at night in the environments where some of this equipment was made to be used, in an area where we have actually retrieved real solid data in the past. Now, that's in no way guaranteeing that something bizarre and unusual going to happen at the workshop. I mean, it might. We had a workshop back in October.
Happened before. That's all I'm going
And-
to say.
and it happened before, but this going to be a good time. Only a few spots left. Wood Booger Jamboree is coming up a month after this on August 12th. It's going to be an absolute blast. We have added more vendors now to the roster, and we cannot wait for everybody to be there and experience that and enjoy it. We are also going to be working and donating school supplies to the local Board of Education and the local schools directly. So that way you guys can do your part to support the local community in that area.
Fun stuff. Good stuff. And another really big thing that's been coming through here lately, we've been bombarded by people wanting to get in on the Flatwoods Monster Convention as vendors, guys. It's been sold out for literally since it was announced.
Yeah,
isn't that right, Joe?
Days after it was announced, it was sold out.
Yeah, it went fast. So you're more than welcome to send, your mail over and whatnot, and we'll put you on a list for next year. But that has been sold out. Everybody else, get ready for it because it's going to be a really good time. We've got some good stuff going on. We've got this guy showing up. That's Mr. Stan Gordon there. He's going to be showing up. So he's going to be talking about some of his stuff. Stan's a good guy. We'll be talking to Ray Zamansky. He's going to be showing up. Incredible guest. You'll get to hear him here in a few weeks over on, actually it'll be on this one, right? It'll be on the podcast.
On the recorded side of the podcast.
Yeah, it's going to be for Roswell Day. So that'll be a really good one.
We also have Andrew Smith is going to be speaking, giving an historical account of the Flatwood.
I don't have his picture up, but yes, Andrew's going to be there. And Dave Spinks will be speaking as well. I don't have.
No, we're not speaking. We're going to be too busy.
No, we're not
running around.
No, if you want to catch us,
we'll hang out, but it's going to be a lot.
If you want to catch us, you can find us at these places, and there's a few of them there. So the next one's going to be Kecksburg, I think, right?
Yep, Kecksburg is the next one. That is next weekend.
Yeah.
Or not next weekend. Sorry, next month.
Yeah, next month.
And then we've got shortly after that, there's going to be the Hawking Hills Bigfoot. Holy cow, that show is drumming up to be absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have.
So Wild and Weird's not set in stone yet for Wild and Weird Con.
There is no Wild and Weird Con until next year. We've sunk everything into this monster because this is going to be huge. I mean, massively huge. No pun intended. It is a monster. It's going to be wonderful to actually have an event that celebrates the event of the Flatwoods Monster, the true thing. Guys, this was an amazing event. I mean, Roswell's got its crash. I mean, we had our crash here. This was a crash, or at least something went down in those woods. So,
Yeah, James Boggs' mom saw that happen. Remember, he said she saw multiple fireballs that night.
That's right. Yeah. So yes, and it would be wonderful if we could get some people to actually come in and talk about that too. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, especially him.
And for everybody else who's been wondering about Wild and Weird Con, because I know there's been a ton of people that's asked. 24, we're moving it to Huntington. I'm talking to 2 different venues already, and we're going to nail it down, and it's going to happen next year. 2024 Wild and Weird Con official returns, but there's a few other things on the docket for next year.
We can't talk about any of that.
I cannot confirm nor deny.
Right.
But
it's huge. That's all we can say.
Big.
It's huge. Huge. Big.
Yeah.
So get ready for it. It's going to be a wild and weird year, and we are just kicking it into gear. Literally kicking it into gear as far as the wild and weird stuff goes.
Yep.
So you're gonna, I mean, if you aren't into the wild and weird, I mean, it's gonna be bad year probably for you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
we all have like 100 personal projects we're working on.
It's gonna be bad because it's about to get really, really freaking weird. I'll just tell you that. We've got 6 months till we hear back from the government at this point, and before that happens,
best Christmas present ever.
Yeah, man. I mean, I
just realized that's gonna be around New Year. Oh man,
we can neither confirm nor deny it.
I think we're gonna have bodies soon.
Wait, what now? What?
I think we're gonna have talk of bodies.
Oh shoot!
Oh.
talk of. Okay, okay. I was like, well, okay. I mean, that's what you want to do. Make a phone call or two, but you know, going back.
There's the mine shafts.
I'm just saying.
I think we
You know.
have some mine shafts and pig farms in West Virginia.
There you go. There you go. We'll fix all this mess up.
Well, everybody, thank you all for joining us again. Thanks, Adam, for hanging out with us for this episode. Can't wait to have you back on, brother.
Thank you. It was a great pleasure.
And remember, if you've had to encounter yourself and you want to report that, you can do so over at wildandweirdwv.com. Hit the report a sightings tab and go down, answer the questionnaire. We will be in touch with you shortly after that. Remember, everybody, we're also now partnered up with Paranormality Magazine. One of our very own, Brandon Wills, is an author that has joined them and is contributing works every single month. And if you want to get your hands on that, all you have to do is use promo code WILDNWEIRD23. That is WILD, the letter N, WEIRD23, and you get 10% off your first month subscription. These articles are fantastic. The magazines themselves are printed extremely well on great stock. The artwork is over the top. You do not want to miss what is going on over Paranormality Magazine. Remember, that is promo code WILD, the letter N, WEIRD23 to get 10% off your first month subscription. If you want to continue to be like a sponsor, like Adam is the sponsor.
I think Adam's a shareholder at this point. He's not a sponsor.
Right.
But...
You can go and look over at wildandweirdwv.com, click the shop tab, and you can peruse all of our wares there. You can get everything shipped straight to your house. Remember, there's only a few tickets left for the Bigfoot Workshop. You definitely want to get in on that quick if you're wanting to be a part. Then, if you want to join the show or you have a show topic suggestions, send those over to wildandweirdwv@gmail.com, or you can contact us on Facebook or Instagram, any of those places. So remember, if you go down under, everything there wants to kill you, especially the bunyip. Stay wild and weird, everybody.
All right, all right, all right.
Oh, yeah.